Welcome to the Bougie Baldie Podcast with your host, Kellie Rhymes.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Bougie Baldie Podcast. Today, we have an awesome episode, and we have a lady here who is awesome. She's wonderful, and she is starting a new Toastmasters group. We're going to get all into it. But first, let me go ahead and introduce Samantha. All right, so Samantha is a dedicated member of the Toastmasters International Club since 2011. Samantha has earned 3 Distinguished Toastmaster DTM awards and received multiple accolades, including Toastmaster of the Year from 2017 to 2018 and Division Director of the Year in 2023 and 2024. Throughout her journey, she has served in various leadership roles, such as club officer, trainer, area director, district PQD assistant, and club quality chair, helping to mentor and support clubs and members in achieving their communication and leadership goals. Now, she is excited to introduce Bald Confidence Toastmasters, a prospective club dedicated to empowering individuals to speak with confidence and authenticity. This new initiative is all about embracing who you are. Samantha looks forward to sharing insights on public speaking, leadership, and the mission behind Bald Confidence Toastmasters. Welcome to the Bougie Baldie Podcast, Samantha.
Thank you, Kellie.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and before we get into the questions and learn more about Samantha, first let me introduce myself to any of you guys who may be new to the podcast. My name is Kellie. I am a women's hair loss support and authenticity coach. And this podcast, the Bougie Baldie Podcast, is to help uplift women who are experiencing hair loss, any forms of hair loss. We are here to share our stories, to provide education and resources that could help you along your journey. I want to take you from insecurity to confidence and make sure you step into your true, authentic self. All right, so Samantha, we all see that you also have hair loss, just like myself. So can you share with the audience your hair loss journey?
Absolutely, Kellie. Thank you. And thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here today.
You're
My
welcome.
hair loss journey, my bald hair loss journey is fairly recent. It's been about 4 years, so just prior to COVID. Now, I must confess, though, I did not have the healthiest relationship with my hair.
Mhm.
I really did not like combing my hair. And so I had locks. I had locks for about 20 years. And then they started to thin at the crown. Then I got COVID and I got a migraine for 18 months.
Oh my goodness.
During that time, I had to make a decision. Either I deal with the thinning here from what I was told was tension alopecia, or I focus on my health and trying to get this migraine out of stasis.
Okay.
And I decided to grab the opportunity and shave my head. I didn't get permission from anyone.
Well, do you need permission? It is your head.
It was a bit of a shock to my family, and it was not, though, a shock to me. I really loved the bald hair look, style. It wasn't what I've heard from a lot of women is it's a shock, it's a trauma for them. And for me, it was just like an exhale. It was just like finally what I was meant to be, just bald. And so for me, it was just really having to deal with other people's expectations. And I've slowly grown into being able to admit that I like being bald. It's not a hard thing for me. I really do love being bald. And I shaved my head in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started to find bald communities and get involved in bald communities. And I was really, really surprised at just how many communities there are out there now.
Yes, yes. And I'm glad that there are more communities, because when I started losing my hair and went through my hair loss journey, there wasn't anything out there really. But so I'm glad now that we have so many ways to support ourselves.
Yeah.
And your journey is very similar to mine, just because I had locks as well. My hair started coming out at the crown of my head, a little size, like quarter size spot, very similar to what you're talking about. But I've also heard many women talk about and tell me that they have experienced and still are experiencing hair loss because of having COVID. I don't know if it was COVID in general that is causing it, or if it was vaccinations. Like, I don't know if there's a clear answer to that, but you are not alone. There are so many women out there who are still experiencing the after effects of having COVID. So go ahead and let's move on into the next question here, because I know you started your Toastmasters Club based off of your journey, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you have been a dedicated member of Toastmasters since 2011. Can you tell us what initially sparked your interest in public speaking and leadership within that organization?
I was always a talker. I never had a fear of speaking publicly or privately or while I was asleep. I did not have a fear of speaking.
Mhm.
What I did have is a fear of community. I am quite an introvert. I am at peace by myself for long periods of time. And what appealed to me in the Toastmasters organization is the sense of community. My first Toastmasters club that I joined was a corporate club at the place that I worked at the time.
Mhm.
And it was an opportunity for me to get out of my corner cube and meet other people in the organization in different departments that I would not have normally encountered in my day-to-day tasks.
Okay. So that is what sparked your interest to get into the organization. Now, you've earned 3 Distinguished Toastmaster awards, and that is like no small feat, of course. What do you think these achievements say about your commitment to personal growth and the Toastmasters mission?
Well, Kelly, I have to admit that the first Distinguished Toastmaster Award really was the only award that I set a goal to accomplish. I
Mm-hmm.
said, okay, I want to earn a DTM in 2 years, and I need to do these 3 tasks to do it. And I did that.
Mm-hmm.
After that, after accomplishing that first DTM, the others happened because I just organically said yes when I was asked to serve in a role, to serve as an officer or to help with training or to show up and do a speech at a meeting. I just showed up and served when I was asked, and then I would look up and say, oh, I just have this one more thing to do to get my next DTM. And that's how they happened. And the third one that I got last year, it really struck me that each one of those for me represents lives impacted. To get a Distinguished Toastmaster award, you not only have to do speeches, but you have to do service at the club level. You have to do service at the district level. So think of the district as like the Houston area or the St. Louis area.
Mm-hmm.
It usually encompasses an upwards of 100 clubs or so.
Okay.
And so it involves impacting a lot of lives. And that's what the Distinguished Toastmaster Awards mean to me now, is it means that I have, in the course of a year or two, impacted a number of lives for the better. And that is what it means to me. That's what strikes me every time I hear that DTM. It's lives impacted through service.
So as I'm listening to you, I'm sitting here like, you know what? Many people in my audience may not even know what Toastmasters is. I know what it is because I was in Toastmasters. I know other people in Toastmasters, but I just made the assumption that everybody's listening knows what Toastmasters is. And I'm sure that's not the case. So can you explain just briefly what is Toastmasters?
Toastmasters is a communication and leadership training organization. It is a nonprofit organization. It is the only nonprofit organization that I know of that's dedicated. Its mission is specifically to empower individuals to become better communicators and leaders. All other nonprofits I know of have a cause. It's trees or pets or
Mhm.
something. You are the cause. I am the cause in Toastmasters. Toastmasters exists to help members become better communicators and leaders.
Thank you for explaining that to everyone. Now, I know I should not have made that assumption. Now, I mentioned that I was in Toastmasters. Actually, I just kind of stopped attending my club maybe a couple months ago, I think at the beginning of the year, just because of my schedule. But I do plan on getting back into it. And I have already joined your club as a member. So we're going to get a little bit more into that, okay? But before we start talking about your new club, I know you've had several leadership positions within Toastmasters. Which role has been the most rewarding for you, and what have you learned from that experience that you can share with our listeners?
This question was a little difficult for me to answer succinctly because every role that I had that I've served in thus far has taught me something different, something unique, something good. But what I can say is the first Distinguished Toastmaster project, in order to get that award, you have to do a major project. And for my first DTM award, the project I did involved working with a team of about 12 people.
Okay.
And what was really memorable for me from that project was when the project was over, I wasn't the only one that had accomplished an education award. 11 other people had advanced their communication skills and their leadership skills to the next level. For
Okay.
me, that was the most important thing. And that has been my focus throughout my Toastmasters tenure. It's been not just getting an award for myself, but empowering the other people around me, the members in my club, the clubs that I'm visiting, to advance themselves as well, to practice listening to their voice, speaking their message, hearing themselves tell their truth, being their authentic selves. That's what it's all about for me. So it's really difficult to pick one,
Uh-huh.
pick just one role, because each role had an impact in a way that just was really, really poignant and important to me.
And I'm glad you said that, just because with my experience, I was in Toastmasters. I wasn't in it that long as far as my former club. I was in it for about 6 months. But within that 6 months, I definitely developed my speaking skills, how to present and do storytelling on stage and different things like that. So Toastmasters is definitely a great resource, a tool to really improve yourself.
Yep.
So, if anybody out there who's interested in public speaking, or even just you may have a podcast, you may just have a YouTube video, you may be doing something where you're speaking to an audience, definitely think about joining Toastmasters because it can help you with your skills. All right. So, Samantha, it says in 2017 and 18, during that period, you were named Toastmaster of the Year. Okay. Toastmaster of the Year. Now, was this national, international? Like, how does that work?
That was Toastmaster of the Year just for our district in the area. So
Okay.
Toastmaster of the Year for about 190 clubs, I think, at the time. So
Okay.
maybe about 3,000 people or so.
Okay. So what do you attribute to the honor of being Toastmaster of the Year? How did that influence your journey in your public speaking and in leadership?
That was the year where I really was just saying yes to everything. Every time I got asked to show up, to speak, to help with a training event,
Mm-hmm.
I just said yes, and I showed up. I helped with fundraising for the district, helped with sourcing funds for because like I said, it's a nonprofit.
Okay.
But I sourced corporate funding for some of our events. And I just, again, served wherever I was asked and called to do a particular role or a particular task. And I saw so many lives impacted. It was really funny that Toastmaster of the Year award, because I distinctly remember you get the award at a conference, at a district conference.
Mm-hmm.
And I was serving at the conference. I was running around doing something, and somebody called me into the room. And I said, "Oh, I have to go back out there and do XYZ." And she said, "No, stay right here." And then I heard my name called. So I completely missed the preamble about, when they were talking about what I was doing. I completely missed it. I heard my name, I looked up, and they said Toastmaster of the Year. So what it did for me was it really solidified the fact that I'm here in this organization for the people, not for the accolades, for the service, not for the rewards. And that was important to me because when I joined, even though I was comfortable speaking, I had not gotten very good feedback or responses for the sound of my voice. I
Okay.
grew up in a place where children were supposed to be seen and not heard.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking. That was not received well. And when I got to Toastmasters, one of the traditions we have of in Toastmasters is we applaud. We applaud when people are going from their seats to the front of the room. We
Mm-hmm.
applaud after people speak. Nobody else in any other area of my life applauds when I speak. They do it in Toastmasters every
Yes.
time.
Uh-huh.
And really, for maybe the first year or so, I really showed up for the applause. I showed up for the applause because it felt good.
Okay.
But when I got that Toastmaster of the Year award, it really solidified for me that I was no longer showing up for the applause. I was
Mm-hmm.
showing up for the deeper purpose of helping the members in the organization.
Wow, wow. Now, when you mentioned you were just saying yes to everything, it reminded me of I think I was watching an interview with Shonda Rhimes. I don't know if she wrote a book about this or if she just did it, but she talked about having a year of yes and
Mm,
how that opened her up to new experiences. It was the best time of her life. So that's a good thing that you did that, because I think we probably all need to do that a little bit more. We're so quick to say no out of, being uncomfortable with something or never having experience with something. We're quick to be like, no, no, no,
right,
but sometimes we just need to say yes, because we never know where that may lead us, right?
right, right.
Yes. All right. So let's take a short break and listen to a quick message. Are you a woman struggling with hair loss, feeling unattractive and insecure? At Limitless Mindset Coaching, we understand the emotional toll that hair loss can take. In just 90 days, we help you transform from feeling lost and embarrassed to radiating with confidence and joy. Imagine building your self esteem, discovering the perfect camouflage technique to cover up your hair loss, and receiving tips and tricks that can help you with your hair loss and embrace the new you while connecting with a supportive community of women just like you. Say goodbye to those negative emotions and hello to a positive mindset. Picture vibrant new relationships, walking through the room with your head held high, participating in social events and activities again, and living a life filled with happiness. Are you ready to take that first step? Well, visit www.limitlessmindsetcoach.com or click the link in the description today and let's embark on this empowering journey together. All right, so Samantha, can you share the inspiration behind launching Bald Confidence Toastmasters? Now, this is a new club that you are just starting, so I know you're trying to get members, but what is the inspiration behind it?
Well, I just wanted to bring two groups that I'm passionate about together. When I started my bald journey, when I shaved my head and I joined these communities, I kept seeing women talk about the pain of their journey and the lack of confidence that they had. And I heard how much they were struggling with their confidence and just feeling comfortable in this new look.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how much a sense of confidence and empowerment I felt in going through the Toastmasters program and getting involved in the different clubs in the different communities. And I just wanted to bring those two worlds together.
Okay.
And that really was just the inspiration for it. I know the tools, I've experienced the tools, I've benefited from the tools and the training that's available in Toastmasters.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what it can do for the women who are looking, and not just women, the men as well, who are looking for that confidence, to build that confidence back up.
Okay. So have you gotten, how many members do you need to actually get the club off the ground?
We need a minimum of 20 members to charter a club.
Okay. So how many members do you have now, or how many do you need to continue to go ahead and get things on the roll?
Well, the way you charter a club in Toastmasters is you have to get those 20 members and you submit all your whole application and everything with your 20 plus members to start your club. So we are actually at the point where we are looking for those 20 charter members. We can have more than 20, but we need a minimum of 20. And this is a one-time thing. I know this sounds a little salesy, but it actually is just the truth. Charter members are recorded as foundational members of a club, and they get a special certificate and special recognition as charter members, founding members of the club.
Mm-hmm.
Members who join after that first initial charter are members in good standing, and we appreciate those members, but it's not the same as your founding members who get that special certificate and are recorded in Toastmasters International in perpetuity as the founding members of the club. So now is the opportunity to just become a founding member of Bald Confidence. Once the club charters, once we get those first 20 members and we charter, then you just can become a member. You can't become a charter member anymore.
Okay. All right. So you guys, you hear that. If you want to participate in Toastmasters, and in particular, this club, okay, that Samantha is starting, she is looking for charter members. So make sure you sign up. Now, I will be putting the links and everything you need to know to sign up for the club in the description of this episode. But definitely make sure you sign up. I'm sure there's information on the site, correct, to give general information about the club. So you guys go check it out and, participate. Again, this is something that will help you. This is self-improvement, and it does not cost a lot. Can you tell everybody how much the dues and fees are to join the club?
Yeah, if you've not been a Toastmaster before, you'll pay a one-time $20 new member fee, and then it's $60 every 6 months. So $120 a year. It's billed in 6-month increments, and a $20 new member fee. And that is just by far the most value that you can get for that money. There's 300 core competencies that you get delivered in the educational, what we call Pathways program, that's online. And so it's a huge value for the money. You actually can, and there are testimonies of people who have gotten promotions at their jobs because of their involvement in Toastmasters. There are a number of leaders of other countries that are active Toastmasters. The value you get, not just from the educational material, but from the professional level of interaction that you get. There are doctors, lawyers, writers, creatives that voluntarily give their time to Toastmasters and to the not just their local community, but the global community. And you get to partake of all of that for that $60 every 6 months. So
yes. And it's definitely worth it. We're in the club that I was in. We had people from all over the world. It was definitely great networking. It was good to learn about different cultures because as people speak and give their speeches, you learn about them, right? So it was great. I had a great group of people, and I'll probably get back into that same club as well as yours. I just gotta slow down and have some time to do all of these things. But one thing I also wanted you to share with the audience is how often does the club meet?
the target for this club will be to meet twice a month, the second and fourth Tuesdays at 6:30 Central Standard Time. That, however, as we charter the club, if the majority of the membership wants to meet at a different date or time or frequency, that can be adjusted. That's one of the great things about Toastmasters clubs is the international organization gives a lot of autonomy to the local club to decide how frequently they meet and what their meetings look like. Most meetings will follow a standard, what we like to affectionately call pie format. We have formal presentations from the educational program, impromptu speaking, where everybody gets a chance to speak for a minute or two if they would like. And then we have an evaluation portion where the formal speakers get feedback on how they can improve their speech. And that pie format, no matter where you go in the world, a Toastmaster meeting will generally follow that format. And other than that format, you have a whole lot of leeway on how you can adjust your club culture to fit what your members want.
Okay. All right. Now, I mentioned earlier in my introduction that I'm all about building your confidence, making sure you're being authentic. Now, with the club and Toastmasters, you are you are also emphasizing empowering individuals to speak with confidence and authenticity. So how can you or how do you define authenticity in public speaking, and why do you believe it's so crucial?
For me, I think authenticity in public speaking is not speaking not saying the things that you think the audience wants to hear, but really saying the things that you feel you need to say, like it's your story, your value, the things that you find have value for you. Because if I'm just telling you, Kelly, what I think you want to hear, you're going to know that I'm not passionate about that.
Exactly.
You're going to feel like I'm just trying to sell you something. And so it really, for me, authenticity, I said this to a group I was meeting with today. I personally don't speak to be heard. I speak because I feel like there's something of value I need to impart to the listener. And it's up to the listener to decide whether they want to take that in and how much value they ascertain to that. I'm maybe an odd duck because I will speak in an empty room. I will speak to myself because there are things that I think need to be said out loud. And I think every person has a voice and a story that is valuable.
Yes.
Unfortunately, not everybody wants to hear the sound of my voice. There are people out there waiting for the sound of Kelly's voice. And for me, Toastmasters is a way for me to help Kelly get confident in telling her story so that the people who are waiting to hear your voice can find you.
Yeah. Oh, that was great. I totally agree with you on that. Now, if we want to, I guess, think about individuals in the clubs, what advice do you give those who are just starting out in public speaking? And what are some common challenges that they may face, and how can they overcome them?
I have a 3-word encouragement that I give.
Okay.
It's show up, serve, and support. One of the hardest things that new people have to do, or they find it really hard to do, is just show up. There is a story of a gentleman that just showed up to the parking lot of a meeting and for a few months and never actually went into the meeting. He was just too afraid to go into the meeting, you know. So show up to your club meeting, show up to other club meetings. If you're too nervous to show up in person, show up online. There are online club meetings all over the world, and you are welcome to all of them, even the restricted meetings where you need to be an employee of a specific organization. Usually it's you need to be an employee to become a member, but you can still visit the club. There are very few clubs where you can't visit as a guest. So show up, get in the room, get on online in the room or in person in the room, and then serve when you get comfortable enough, however long that takes for you, whether it's one meeting or 15 meetings. Show up to those meetings, and when you get comfortable enough, serve. And serving may look like just speaking in that impromptu portion when they ask who wants to answer a question. You can just answer a question. You could serve that way. Or in our meetings, we have various meeting roles, functionaries as we call them. We have a timer that times the duration of the speaking roles. We have an awe counter that listens to filler words like so, you know, and counts those and lets you know how many of those you're doing, which one is your favorite one. So there are different functionary roles you can play in a meeting. Serve in that way as soon as you get comfortable. And then support means you don't show up to the meeting just so you can get something. You show up to the meeting with the intent of giving something, whether it's feedback for a speaker, whether it's giving somebody their timing, giving them encouragement. Most meetings will give you the opportunity to give feedback to a speaker, whether you're a formal evaluator or not, or you can send them a note in chat. But show up with the intent of giving something and showing support rather than just getting something. And I guarantee you, if you do those 3 things, show up, serve, and support, you will find that you will grow exponentially in confidence.
Yes, you are absolutely right. Now, when I started Toastmasters, I had no clue what to expect. I didn't know how the meeting was going to go. I didn't know anything about the roles. I didn't know anything. I just showed up and I'm like, I'm here. And I figured that they would just tell me what to do. And, you know, everybody who was in the club, they had been in the club for a while. They knew, you know, their roles. And so they were just on a roll. And I'm just kind of sitting there like, a fish out of water. But as you said, I kept showing up and I kept basically I just made I just got uncomfortable. That's just really what it was. I mean, even if it was something I had never done before, which was all of it I had never done before. I've done public speaking, but as far as the roles and different things that go on in the club, yeah, I had no idea, but I just had to jump in. I had to jump in. I had to ask questions. I had people in the club that kind of provided some mentorship. So, you know, we would have calls outside of the club, and I was able to ask questions. They could explain things to me, how the Toastmaster portal worked and how to take your courses and your pathways and different things like that. I had no clue. So they were a tremendous help. So you guys don't think that you just go to this club and no one is going to be there to support you. No, that's not what this is. People are ready and willing to help you to succeed, really, and give you the tools that you need. So don't be afraid. I know it may be a little scary, but even if you show up the first time or a couple of times and don't say anything at all or say very minimal, you have to make yourself get comfortable, and just really jump out there and just try. I think the easiest thing for me to do when I first started was the those little minute talks, the round table,
Yeah.
table talks.
Yeah.
Yep, those
Table
were the
topics.
easiest for me to kind of like get comfortable to jump in or even take the role of the leader of the table talks so that I was contributing to the group and not just sitting there listening.
Well, Toastmasters International has, it's a 100-year organization. It's been around 100 years, and they have truly gone digital now. If you go to toastmasters.org, there actually is on the membership tab, there is information on all the meeting roles. There's also a short video on what to expect at your first meeting. So if you're nervous about going to a Toastmasters meeting and not sure what to expect, you can go online to toastmasters.org, go to membership, and there's information there on what to expect at your first meeting, what the meeting roles are, what to expect from them. So you can get comfortable with the format and the content online in your own time before you ever even show up to a meeting.
Okay. Yeah. See, at that point, when I first started, I didn't even know anything about all of the information in the portal. I'm just like, I'm here.
Showing up is half the battle.
Exactly. All right. So I know you have been involved in Toastmasters for a while, and I know that the program has changed, over the time since you've been in it. So what are some of those changes that you've noticed, and how have they benefited other people or benefited the organization in general?
Oh, well, when I started, we had manuals, like physical books.
Oh.
One was called Competent Communicator and one was called Competent Leader. And I would lose them all the time. You would have to do a speech and go to the vice president of education and get them to sign your book. And then I would lose the book and I'd have to do the speech over again. Now we have an online, digital, dynamic, interactive, and ever evolving education system. You can do it on your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your PC. You could do it while you wait online somewhere. You can do it anywhere. And what's really great about it is you can give feedback when you finish your levels. Each their paths, think of them like courses. And there's recognition in terms of digital badges, as well as clubs can get ribbons and pins. I have a pin here for the Distinguished Toastmaster. So there's lots of ways you can recognize accomplishments. For one of the key ways for people who are still in business and want their supervisors to know what they're doing, Toastmasters International will actually send a letter directly to your supervisor saying, Kellie has completed this award level and she has done XYZ to get to this level. And there are people that have gotten several promotions because their supervisors have seen what they've done and have gotten that letter. So the program is way more incorporated and robust and digital. I really admire the way Toastmasters International has evolved over time and survived COVID. If we didn't have this digital program during COVID, the organization would not have survived, because pre-COVID, we had to report to a physical meeting location, and clubs were, geographically organized. Now I can attend a club meeting in Ireland because it's online. So the program has really evolved as its members have evolved, and as members continue to give feedback on the program, they're continually and dynamically updating the digital program. It's one of the benefits of being digital. So I'm just really proud of the way the program is growing to continue to meet our needs.
Good. Yes. So you guys understand that. I just want to make sure it's clear. You can attend Toastmaster meetings in person or online or both. Okay. You can join more than one club. You can be a visitor at multiple clubs. So you do have options. And there
Right.
are different clubs that are dedicated to different types of speaking and different niches. I do believe. Am I correct in saying that, Samantha?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You'll find a corporate club, let's say a club in an oil and gas company might be completely different than a club in a real estate company. And those corporate clubs would be different culturally than a community club. There's a club that's based on poetry. They
Mhm.
they focus on their speeches or spoken word poetry. There's a club that is based for singles. There's a police club. So their clubs often will be niche clubs. This Bald Confidence Club would may turn into a niche club where people who are experiencing hair loss or who are bald feel it's safe to come among like-minded people and build their confidence. So that's their religious organizations that have clubs that are specific to their religious denomination. So absolutely, there are niches. It's one of the ways you can create a safe space for yourself.
Yes.
Just what I'm doing. Let's say you actually there's one lady I know who does, I forgot the name of it, but it's basically taking pictures of flowers, Japanese flowers that are arranged,
Hmm.
and all her speeches are about Japanese flower arrangements.
Okay.
She can have a whole club of people just, talking about Japanese flower arrangements. That's absolutely acceptable.
Yes, yes. I've heard all kind of speeches. I've heard speeches about people's work or their job, their businesses, just personal stories. That's all kind. Anything you want to talk about that you're comfortable talking about, you can do a speech on it.
Yes, yes.
So I know community is important. Building community is important for professional and personal growth. What strategies do you believe are the most effective in fostering a supportive environment within a Toastmasters club?
The absolute key thing for clubs, and often we get caught up in the logistics of the organization and we miss it,
Hmm.
is continuing to tap into what your members want.
Okay.
If I am an officer in a club and I like things structured, and I want everything done just on time and this way, and it has to be strict, and my members want to be more engaged and more fluid in the club, then that
Hmm.
club is not going to survive. Members are just going to leave. This is
Hmm.
a volunteer organization. People are paying dollars to get a safe environment where they can grow. And
Hmm.
so it's really important. Toastmasters has a tool called Moments of Truth
Okay.
that is a survey tool that basically allows the club leadership to reach out to members and say, hey, are you getting what you want out of this club? Is
Okay.
this club serving your needs? If not, why not? What can we change? And each club should really be doing that at least once a year to make sure that they are serving the needs of their members.
Hmm.
Members matter most. It's a phrase in this district that I'm in that we hear a lot. The whole organization is structured, designed, and exists to empower individuals. So it's really, really, really important that we know what the individual wants.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right, now going to your club, the Bald Confidence Toastmasters, and we're looking forward, just to getting it up and going. What are your aspirations for the club, and how do you envision its impact on just a broader community?
I want Bald Confidence to be the place, the go-to place that bald community leaders and members come to in order to become empowered and learn how to communicate confidently and build their leadership skills. I want this club to be the place that they think about when they have members that they want to move up into leadership. They should say, you know what, go to Bald Confidence. go to Bald Confidence and get involved for a year, and then we can move you up into the leadership in the organization. So I really want it to be the go-to safe place for Bald community leaders and members.
And I'm just thinking because when I think back at my own journey and being in corporate America and experiencing hair loss and trying to figure out and navigate that space, because in corporate America it's all about your appearance, right?
Yes.
I think it would be very beneficial, even if people who just need to get comfortable, because companies don't know how to deal with hair loss. That's just not something on their radar, right? That's just
Right.
something really personal to an employee. But having a group like this available for management or for employees to say, hey, let me just go to this club, just because at least I know there are going to be people who are experiencing what I have experienced or am experiencing. Let me just be around people like me and let me get comfortable using my voice, because with hair loss comes insecurity a lot of times. And I know you are good with yours, and you were good in the beginning with your hair loss, but many people are not,
Yes.
So having the opportunity to just talk, it could be a speech about your hair loss. It could be something about you being uncomfortable. It could be something about you overcoming. It could be anything, but it's allowing you to have that voice, giving you the opportunity to just talk. And you're speaking to people who understand what you're going through. So this is definitely a safe space. And I definitely believe it's a great idea to have a club like this in Toastmasters.
Yes. Yes.
So Samantha, can you tell everybody, and I know I mentioned that I'll be putting links in the description of the episode, but for anyone who's interested in joining the Bald Confidence Toastmasters Club, how can they get information or contact you to be a part of the club, or just to get more, like I said, information?
Well, we do have a website that's up. It's www.baldconfidence.toastmastersclubs.org. Kelly will have the link in the information description. We also have an email, it's baldconfidencetm@gmail.com. On the website, there's a link where you can contact us and put in your information. We are having an open house. Our first open house will be on April 8th at 6:30 Central Standard Time.
Okay.
I am believing that we will have our 20 members show up there. Okay. And shortly after that, we'll be able to charter. So this is timely. It's not do it right this second, but I think within the month, we will have the members that we need to charter this club. So if you want to get in as a charter member, you can reach out on the website to contact us at that email. Or you can contact me directly. It's greattm4 like Great Toastmaster Forever at gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I would need your contact information. We have an application that everyone who wants to be a charter member would need to fill out, but you get all that information on April 8th at our open house. If you'd like to fill out the membership application before that, just reach out either via contact us on the website or my Great Toastmaster Forever at Gmail email, and I can get you that application, and you can fill it out beforehand if you like.
And they can register for the open house through the website as well, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Actually, we don't even have registration for the open house. You can just show up. We'll have a waiting room to admit you, and I think we're capping it at 100 people.
Okay.
So 6:30, April 8th, 6:30 Central Standard Time. Show up there and you'll get all the information you need. Or if you want to get the information beforehand, just fill out our contact us information. There's also a QR code on the flyer that I sent, and you can scan that and send us your information. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yes, yes. And you guys, you don't have a lot of time. So make sure you go click on the links in the description and go get registered if you would like to join this club. All right. Because this, like she said, is timely. We don't have a lot of time before this open house, or it is called, you called it an open house, right?
Yes, it is an open house. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So we don't have a lot of time before the open house. So you got to jump on it. After you listen to this episode, don't click off, but after you listen, make sure you head over and sign up. Okay. Well, that's all I have for you, Samantha. But I do want to just ask one more thing. If
Absolutely.
you could leave the audience with any advice or anything you would want to say, any well wishes, what would you like to offer the audience?
Oh, I'd like to say that your voice matters, your story matters, and it's really, really, really important for you to understand that and embrace that and get confident in the fact that you have value. Your voice and your story has value, and there are people who are waiting to hear what you have to say.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you so much, Samantha, for coming on the Bougie Baldie Podcast. We appreciate all of the work you do, the support you are providing to people with hair loss. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Kellie. This was so much fun. We must do it again.
Yes,
Thank you so much for having me here and sharing my voice with your community. I appreciate you.
You are absolutely welcome. All right. Well, you guys, that is going to wrap up this episode of the Bougie Baldie Podcast. Remember, if you are experiencing any emotional challenges due to your hair loss, any sadness, depression, anything like that that's holding you back, I am here to help and support you with that. So definitely check out my website. You can book a call with me directly. I have some resources on my website that you can utilize. So make sure you check the description for the link to the website as well. All right. Well, until next time, from my heart to yours. Bye.
Thank you for watching the Bougie Baldie Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe